The speech so far seems to be addressed, he says, on promoting the right culture inside the military, the correct personnel. He also made the claim that it should have apolitical leaders. He did seem to promote his own book. He said this speech is about ending the war on warriors, coincidentally or not, the title of a book by Pete Hegseth. And he then proceeded, as he is now, I think, to talk about changing the culture in the military. He said for too long it's been dependent on race and gender and ideology. I want to bring back in with us retired Army Brigadier General Steve Anderson. General, good to see you. You've been listening. Have you heard anything that constitutes a change or an announcement or a reason to be addressing the group in the room today?
Well, I think that there are probably a lot of general officers sitting there right now muttering to themselves, I traveled 8,000 miles to hear this. I mean, this is essentially a canned speech that really it could have been delivered by anybody at almost any time. But I think that there are some clues he's leaving about refocusing on homeland security and taking away perhaps some of our forward presence and the strength of our alliances overseas. And that really concerns me. I mean, that has kept this world safe for 80 years. I mean, the NATO alliance and the alliances we have in Japan and Korea have kept this world relatively safe for a long time. And for us to come off on that would be a terrible, terrible mistake. And I think that there were probably a couple of clues that he left there to that regard. The other thing that he talked about was changing the culture and, talking about accountability and responsibility. I mean, there's nothing like being lectured by a reserve major, been in the military for 20 years, and about things like that. I mean, these guys can write books about their service and their sacrifice and the bravery that they have shown. And if you talk about accountability and responsibility, he needs to start with himself. He should have resigned after the Signalgate disaster, where he shared our classified secrets on an unsecure line. Every single person in that room knows that they would have been fired had they done the same thing. So, I mean, this is really a sad moment in our history. I think that this speech and what's going on right now is probably going to turn into a political rally for President Trump. But it's really all about trying to get the military to kowtow to them and their will. And unfortunately, I think we're going to just see a lot of that for the next hour or so.
All right, General Anderson, we appreciate you being with us. We're going to keep on monitoring the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. He is, as you can see, a very accomplished public speaker walking around that stage, speaking to the group of generals and admirals there, talking about